Despite what their moms told them, they just aren't talented enough for radio. Unfortunately, anyone can have a show these days. Sean.
Well, I'm pretty hard to figure out sometimes. In fact, I can't even figure myself out sometimes, so don't you try to.
Joe.
You're an idiot. And really a disloyal person.
This is the Cuse Militia. Those two unapologetically biased, orange-blooded homers, Sean and Joe.
It's the most bullshit thing I've seen in 30 years.
Welcome, orange men and ladies. Happy Wednesday. This is the Cuse Militia with Sean and Joe. At Cuse Militia on the socials. Go there, join the militia live on X Spaces sometimes. Maybe, probably not today, though. So, man, the Oranges' 9-game win streak comes to a close at Clemson.
9?
Did I say 9?
Yeah, that would have been nice.
That would have been great.
We'd be in the tournament.
4. 90-75. I think that's what I was trying to say. Maybe not. But, I don't think it's much of a surprise. I mean, at least for me, I kind of, I had high hopes. But, I mean, obviously Syracuse never had real control of the game. So, they didn't go out there and get absolutely pummeled despite the final score. That happened a lot towards the end of the game. And Joe Girard, once again, getting put on the line. And the dude's shooting 95% from the free throw line this year, which is absurd. So there's that. Once again, he gets the ball when we decide to foul. And we had a couple opportunities before that when that started. But anyways, he hit some important shots down the stretch. PJ Hall was running on, who knows? I don't know. Pure adrenaline, I don't know. He absolutely destroyed it last night. Syracuse killed in the paint, too, not to mention. I will say this, though, that, the worst we could finish is 7th. The best we can finish is 5th. Everybody else pretty much still has another game. We're not sitting in a terrible spot, having that extra couple days to recoup, practice, and focus on, what we need to do for the ACC tournament. So, I don't have extremely high expectations as far as, I don't have any expectations as far as making the tournament. In fact, I would, other than maybe a championship game, win or lose in the ACC tournament, I just would assume that we're not going to make it. And that's okay. I think, I didn't come to terms with it yesterday. I kind of have already come to terms with it. But I think it's fair to say that yesterday really kind of pushed me over. And it's just one of those things where if Syracuse was if this was 2025, if this was a year from now, and Syracuse had all the same players, and another year under their belt. It's just the Clemson team was too experienced for us last night. And I realized that when I saw, them standing up there on senior day and all that. And it just, we're outmatched in that regard. And, we saw it against UNC at UNC, and we're just totally outmatched against the seniority of the guys in the league. And it's okay, because I think where we are, what we accomplished this year so far in the regular season, it exceeded my expectations to some extent, and pleasantly surprised, especially with the way the season started, and for a first-year coach, switching defenses and all of these things. I feel really good about where this team is at, not just heading into the ACC tournament, and we'll see what happens there, but next year. And it's all about, you have to have some player retention, but you've got a couple guys coming in. And I got to imagine some of these guys are going to stay. I mean, I thought, Kyle Cuff, where did that come from? He hits 3 or 4 from 3-point range last night. And I was just like, that's amazing. And again, to Copeland off the bench with 26 points off the bench total last night, which was extremely good. And both of those guys have been coming on better and better as the season's went on. And I don't know. I mean, if you want to be negative about this year, we can all do that. That's too easy. I think we got to look at some of the silver linings and hope for the best as far as next year goes. And in like, what is it? Dumb and Dumber. So you're saying there's a chance. There's still a chance right now.
Yeah, there's always a chance.
There's still a chance. So we're not going to fold it up. This Syracuse basketball team is going to fold it up. Dude, they knew they were going to lose that game last night, and they still fought through everything. And until, it was feasibly time to just say, okay, game's over, and let them dribble it out and be done with it, right? So
yeah, dude. I mean, look, so 4 starters for Clemson on senior night are seniors. Again, we talked about it, the matchup.
One of them is ours.
Yeah, but I mean, like, again, just the matchup, right? Like we talked about it before. We didn't have pretty much a legit big man for the majority of the year. McLeod gets hurt. You got to move Brown over there. And Brown's, when he's playing against, a legit center, then he's going to struggle. But then what doesn't make it easy is when they actually have a guy like Shefflin, who's a legit power forward, and then we don't have a Benny Williams or a Malik to go down and play that because Benny's gone and Malik's playing the center. So now we have someone like a Quadir Copeland or Justin Taylor, who are more like small forwards, shooting guard types. Now they're trying to guard power forwards. And then Shefflin, she's got a wide body, a big body, and he's a smart player, right? And then, they have a player like Jack Clark, who's a 6'10" athletic wing who can run around and chase a guy like Chris Bell and make sure that he doesn't shoot 3. So realistically, this team, this is not a great matchup. We've talked about it since the first time we previewed this game against them the first time. It's not a good matchup for us whatsoever. And, you saw them come out and play with a lot more poise and doing things a lot more deliberately, trying to get the ball down to Shefflin and PJ Hall in those spots. And, they went from being turned over, having 21 turnovers, being turned over 21 times last game to only 10. And then to me, that's really what it was. To me, I thought that we actually played better this game than we did the first time around. It was just we didn't have those turnovers to take away a lot of those opportunities. And, man, like you said, I mean, how many double-digit leads did they have where we'd get it back within – 8, 9, 6, and then all of a sudden Gerard, he hit a big 3. He hit a big 4-point play.
Yes.
Chase Hunter hit some timely 3s there in the second half. And, I mean, it just seemed like PJ Hall, he just wasn't missing anything, And then you go to Shefflin. Shefflin had 16 points, 16 rebounds. And that guy, in the 2 games that he played against Syracuse, and, they said it over the announcement or whatever, he hadn't missed – in 2 games against Syracuse, he hasn't missed a shot. He hadn't missed a free throw. He hasn't missed a field goal. He is 100% from everywhere against Syracuse in the 2 games they played him. So yeah, I mean, that's just kind of the way that, Clemson, they played the type of game that, if they play that way, then it's tough for us to beat them just because of the fact, that like the size differential, that was definitely difficult, and it made it easy for them to get some buckets down low. And as much as the rebound disparity wasn't 17, it was only 7 this time around. It's probably because they made a lot more shots. So it's overall tough, but especially knowing and seeing afterwards, Wake Forest lost, so if we would have won, then we would have locked ourselves into a double bye. And I think that it would have been a different, the college basketball atmosphere and everybody out there would be saying a lot of different things, I think, about Syracuse today.
If we had won.
Yes, if we had won. Yes.
Yeah, but I mean, you clearly look at, like, I think I can't remember what I mentioned during the show, or whether it's just me and you, or if it's in the spaces after the show, but I know we talked about Louisville and how Syracuse, they won every major category in that game, and this time around they lost every major category in the game. And, like, you can't have a game like you did against Louisville and still pull it off against Clemson, and their defense was just overwhelmed. Defensively, the team was overwhelmed. Offensively, I felt like they were okay. It was just, they were just too much to handle, too much experience, too much strength from down, especially down low with PJ Hall, but the other guys too that you mentioned, and just it is what it is. We'll see what happens. Clemson and Wake Forest have to play. I don't think that helps us. That would put us in Clemson would get the tiebreaker there with that. But, still sitting in this, the fact that Pitt, if they lose, Clemson wins, I think we're good. That's fifth slot in the standings. So
I'd almost want to keep 6.
I don't really blame you there. Yeah, I hear you.
Because, at the end of the day, if we get the 6th seed, then that keeps us away for our second game. It keeps us away from Clemson, North Carolina, and Duke. And then we get that rematch against Virginia with the 3 seed.
Yeah, and I think that Virginia is one of the better first games we could get where we're at. So, I wouldn't be opposed to that at all. At this point, if you don't get the double bye...
we'll get a bye. We'll play against somebody. And then if you win, then you got to play one of the top 4 teams. And my vote's Virginia.
My vote's Virginia, too. And just because, Virginia's had our number in the past, I just feel like, obviously, the odds are more favorable there. And I think Syracuse can do better offensively to overwhelm Virginia at this stage in the season. I just don't think that they had it going, and it wasn't as well oiled as it is now when we played them early in the year. As again for the first, how many times have we played Virginia first in ACC play? It's like the third time. Yeah. So and rarely do we get them again, but. We've talked a lot about the net, and there's not really a whole lot going on with the net. Syracuse just drops 1 spot from 83 to 84. Syracuse didn't even play yesterday, or was it the day before yesterday? And they they moved up
because opponents play and things move,
So
right?
and the things a fluid chart constantly. So. The resume doesn't finish off too bad. I don't think it improves or gets worse from where we're at. The only other one that could improve, I think, and we talked about it, was Oregon, right?
I think so.
Yeah, and I don't know what they've got left, but they would need to be in the 50s, right? They'd need to be. Where would they need to be, Joe? They would need to be. That was the neutral court, right? So they'd have to be 75. If I remember right. No, neutral's 50. I was right. Yeah. So
they were 60 last I saw.
They're 64. So that's probably not going to be a thing. Anyway, it's okay. It's okay. It doesn't matter anyway, honestly.
No, it doesn't. And again too, because the way my mind works and how I think about certain things and stuff, and with the net, I saw an article on Orange Fizz, and they talked about how basically the sentence that I saw that I took out of it was, the argument that a win is a win and it doesn't matter what the score is, just doesn't make any sense in college basketball.
It doesn't. You got guys like Todd that claim it does, but Todd doesn't know what he's talking about.
He's basically saying that should.
Oh,
right? And that basically like, a 4-point win against Colgate isn't the same as a 4-point win against NC State, right? And I guess I understand that, but my whole thing is that the net to me should be nothing more than a tool to basically, like I said before, look at those things. Look at who you played, how many quality teams, how many bad teams, then how good or bad did you. It shouldn't be an overall tool that you're going to use at such a high percentage because, again, to my point is that obviously you bring in, the Vegas aspect of it, right? Like, you're supposed to win by a certain amount of points. So is there some type of point spread you have to win or else you're going to move up, right? But also too, you got to think about the beginning of the year. What you're doing is and I think the NCAA is about, the kids and sportsmanship and this and that. What you're incentivizing is go beat the shit out of that team. Schedule as many softies as you can, as long as they're in Division I. And beat the shit out of them. Don't use the non-conference to, work with rotations. I mean, think about it. We grow up, you watch Boeheim, all these. The rotation that you play during non-conference and against some of those teams, it's a feeling out process. You're trying out new things. You're trying out new rotations. You're getting ready and prepared for the conference, your conference play. So in the past, it was always, you do this to get ready for the conference. Non-conference is to get yourself ready for the conference play, because that's what's important. But now they're putting so much emphasis in the non-conference that it's like, really? So now Coach Autry, he can't play all these guys and try to find out rotations and see who's ready and see who's not and see what he wants to do with certain players and certain teams and certain positions. He's just got to go out from day one and be like, all right, guys, if we want to have a good net and we want a chance at the NCAA tournament, we got to go beat the shit out of New Hampshire by 30. You know what I mean? Like, to me, you're incentivizing having to go out there.
Bad sportsmanship.
Basically, yeah. Right? Because now you're saying it's not just go out and win, it's go out and embarrass. Go out and, you know what I'm saying?
Just cream them.
Right. And again, some teams do that. Why? Because some teams are more prepared in the beginning of the season to do that. When you have a team full of sophomores and transfers and a new coach with a new system, then obviously you're still out there. It's a feeling out process. You're just trying to win the game and get to the next one. You're not thinking, oh, man, if we don't beat this team by 30, then there's a reason why we're not going to make the tournament. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, then that's just my whole thing is it's incentivizing that stuff. It's pushing it more towards, a win doesn't matter. You got to beat them by the spread. You got to beat them by as much as you should. You're not allowed to have a bad day, right? Like, and don't get me wrong, I get it. A lot of the teams that Syracuse played that are tournament type teams or teams around there in the bubble, they didn't do great. So I can understand that. But guess what? You can always go back and look at that as a committee. You don't need to use it as a metric for throughout the whole season to where you're going to rank teams. Because I'm sorry, we're not the 84th best team. People look at the net ranking and they're thinking that this is a ranking of which teams are better. And we are not the 84th best team. We're obviously the numbers, way farther.
It comes down to pure numbers.
Pure numbers.
Their numbers
which means
are better.
Basically, it depends on how much you win or lose by to other people.
And I mean, look at Gonzaga. They're 17th in the net, man. And they're a good team, right? Like, they're not bad. Okay? I mean, they're, if I'm not mistaken, aren't they on the cusp? Aren't they ranked?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think they're like 19th or 20th or something like that.
Yeah.
They played 13 quad 4 games, though.
Yeah. Right.
13.
Yep, and go beat the hell out of them.
Yeah, and that's
I don't, like I said, I mean, I don't want to go back down that road of whatever, but it was just another thought that I was thinking about the other day. They were incentivizing these kids going out and beat, from day one, game one in October or November when it starts, the first game out of 30, however many you're going to play, that's when it starts. If you're playing against the softy, you better start beating the shit out of them from the get-go.
I did say we weren't going to go down this road, but here we are again down the road. I will say.
I just had a different thought of it.
I understand. Well, what do you say about any metric? If someone says, any metric that rewards, that would reward beating a bad team, is a flawed metric. In other words, we have to play. Everybody in our conference has to play the worst team in the conference. So if we don't have a choice. So if you don't destroy them at home, sometimes you may only get them once. Maybe you only get them at home. If you don't destroy them at home, then you should be penalized for that. Okay, this is the thought process, though, that I've seen on Twitter. Is that even then, it's also, like I said, the non-conference sets the table for what your net is going into the conference, and then after that, it doesn't move much, right? So that's what I mean. You're incentivizing. Let's go out and schedule a bunch of softies and beat the shit out of them. Put ourselves in a position to get in the NCAA tournament. I mean, if everybody starts doing that, then I just don't know where that's going to put people. You know what I mean? What incentive does anybody have to have a competitive, preseason tournament? A competitive, you know what I'm saying? A good one. I don't know about you, but I enjoy watching these early tournaments that kick the year off.
Yeah.
And what incentive does anyone have if there are good teams in there with you?
I mean, the incentive is you take the risk. You take the risk like Clemson. When you look at Clemson and you see that they're right near us with record and this, and that, they had a lot of good wins. You can say great wins in the non-conference, and that's why they're still set up in bracketology as a 5 seed. Right? So they took a chance. They won. Now, if Clemson loses 3 of those 4 or 5 good games that they won in the non-conference, well, guess what? Now they're sitting exactly where we are.
Right.
So it's a gamble. But at the end of the day, the problem is if you don't take the gamble, it still doesn't hurt you. As long as you beat the hell out of, Texas Southern and Lipscomb.
And I mean, everybody can go on and Google the net rankings, but you can pick out like a James Madison, right? Out of the Sun Belt. 20-0 in quad 4 wins. They're 53rd in the net. Mm-hmm. So my point is, for me, the point is this, that what kind of faith do we put in the net when the net doesn't produce an accurate result?
Right.
It's not reality. It's just pure numbers. And when you put garbage into a formula, it's going to spit garbage out. And it's a garbage formula.
Look, I said, if they use it as a tool with a certain percentage, then that's one thing. But ever since the net started, that's all they talk about, right? So at the end of the day, as long as they bring in a little bit of reality, and that's not me saying that I think that Syracuse should be in. I know that we have.
I think in all reality, we should be talked about. But whenever you hear things in that regard spoken about, they always bring up net. Well, they're 83rd in the net. They did it last night.
Yeah. And the bottom line too is again, we don't have a full deck of cards as far as our team goes, and we have team weaknesses that when we play good teams, they get exploited. I mean, I don't know if we are going to do the whole fan feedback, this, and that, but I mean, Dan on Facebook has a really good, comment about this, but maybe if they had a center and didn't need to collapse as much to support undersized Malik stepping into that role, things would sync up better, including 3-point defense. I don't know. Team weakness is exploited here. They need to shoot the lights out to be able to compete. And that's what you saw last night, is that we have team weaknesses. We needed to double people, and that made it allowed it for people to get open threes. So when we play against experienced, good teams, then that's why we look the way that we do. When we play against teams that are comparable than us, then we can win. Yeah. We have the talent. So
yeah, and I guess that's why maybe we don't really deserve a bid unless we show something in the tournament. And I think that's legit, right? I mean,
yeah.
But do we think
the way they're talking, realistically, we need to win our first game against whoever it is, and then we probably got to beat Virginia if that's who it ends up being, and then we'll probably have to beat a North Carolina or a Duke to get into the final game.
I mean, St. Mary's of California. I mean, I guess they have had some decent teams actually. I remember them in the tournament.
The problem with St. Mary's and with Gonzaga is that their conference isn't that great. So just by default, with playing non-conference and then the teams in their conference, they're going to have a lot more 3s and 4s.
Right. That's not a great example. Yeah. Let's hit up a little fan feedback before we check out. And again, we will be trying to get back here. When we find out exactly what the hell is going on.
We'll know by Sunday.
Yeah, so. Yeah. We are too young and small. The season has been a step in the right direction, but we're a year away. I mean, exactly.
Agreed.
That's better put of what I was trying to say this just a minute ago. So
yeah, well, and that's what you really got to look at now, right? Because I think there were some coaches didn't even think we were going to be in the NIT. Did we even make the NIT in the last 2 years? I don't think so.
No, we haven't. We haven't.
So at the end of the day, I mean, yes, we got to. I mean, we can still go in there and we can still go into that ACC tournament. And barring some upsets and a little bit of help, I think we know where we stand against some of these teams. And I think that we know we have an uphill battle to climb to beat a couple of those teams 2 days in a row. But with that said, we have a whole bunch of sophomores coming back. Like Hema is going to be gone and Benny left, which means we have just enough scholarships for the 2 guys coming in, and we can have everybody come back. So we're going to be at least NIT bound. We're going to be able to watch our team play, and it's a bunch of sophomores. So that just gives us extra time to play against decent teams and get better for next year.
And that gives you more of us, which, is arguably a good thing, maybe. I don't know.
Depends on your opinion.
It does. It does. It really does. I mean, this show has been pretty mediocre for quite some time, actually.
Yeah.
I don't
People
know.
like it. People like it. And then there's some people that, they know what it is and they don't really pay attention. They probably don't listen, but they'll comment.
Right. Or they know what it is and they don't care, and or they know what it is. They hate us. They comment anyway. I tell them not to listen. They agree not to listen, and then they come back and still listen and comment. And I'm like, well, you're still listening. If you hate it, don't listen. I mean, if he can hear my voice right now and you hate the show, just don't listen. I mean, because the show is what it is. It's literally like pretty mediocre, and we admit it. It's fine.
We didn't go to school for this. We don't get paid for this.
I mean, not only that, but we never cared.
No.
To be anything. That's what's made us last so damn long. Because haven't not given a shit. We don't care. All right. Let's see here. Let's see. Can I kind of reel this into focus? Here we go. At Joe Catskill, I like this team. Clemson big man killed Cuse, but overall Clemson shot lights out against some pretty good D. Got to win at least 2 in the ACC tourney to get into the dance. Oh, you guys rock. Go Orange. Well, I stand corrected. Joe, thank you. I appreciate that. Not you, Joe.
Oh, okay.
Catskill, Joe Catskill.
I didn't do anything.
Yeah, you didn't.
Pretty
much.
So, look, Top Fan Jesse on Facebook, right? This team struggles in the half court.
Hold on. Where are you at? Where is he at? Okay, go ahead.
This team struggles in the half court against better teams. We gave up way too many open threes. This team is athletic and has depth at guard. Would like to see them press more with guards and accumulate turnovers / wear teams down. It's an excuse to play Cuff more and get the most out of Joe.
He's a top fan.
Minutes.
Sorry.
I said that.
Oh, my bad.
Just seems like we're leaving a lot on the table. Hopefully, Coach has something up his sleeve come tournament time. This team is a lot of fun to watch. They're still young. This team is capable of beating any team in the ACC. I think we need a little bit of help, when it comes to playing against certain teams. I think when we beat...
what is the Achilles heel?
When we beat North Carolina.
I know, but we also did honestly have some things go our way. Some things that you have to get a little bit of luck in some of this stuff, right?
Oh, you mean like officiating?
Officiating.
There were some calls last night.
There was some calls last night.
There was a couple and ones that we should have got.
And when Coach yells, "That's a foul," I'm all over that, like white on rice, because if he's saying it, then I've already thought about it. So if you got a guy on the ground and an opposing player comes storming in, sliding into the dude while he's on the ground trying to grab a loose ball, that in past basketball,
the definition of that game, in that play in basketball is a foul.
That's a foul. Well, it wasn't called last night. Now, the game was already in the bag for Clemson. It's fine. I get it. But call a spade once in a while.
Yeah.
We did get a little bit of help against UNC, and I'm not saying we were unjustly helped. I'm just saying that it was, look, they went to the monitor, twice in that game? I mean, that's a little bit of luck because, that's not it's a calculated risk by Quadir in that game, but it is also a little bit of luck that he actually was able to do what he did, even intended or not. So you have to have some of that when you play those teams. And you're not going to get that against a Duke. And we were lucky to get what we got against UNC. And if it weren't for instant replay within the last 2 minutes, we wouldn't have got that because they called the balls the other way. No,
yeah, you're right. We got a lot of luck in that North Carolina game, and that's what we're going to need against North Carolina, Duke, Clemson, in my opinion. And honestly, it's maybe Virginia. It's just been so hard. That's why I wanted a piece of Virginia, because it's been so long since we played them, right? And we played them at home, and it's just out of control early. If we're going to play a team that's 1 through 4, that's the team I want. So, and we'll just wherever the cards fall, man. It's what it is at this point. I think that we've done better than what most people expected, and as you do better, then your expectations grow. We've seen it in football year after year, and that's what happened in basketball. So, but I mean, I can't be, this team, they fight, they do what they can. They're fun to watch. And I just hope that we retain all of them and have them all come back with a freshman next year.
Yeah. And I mean, everything is looking up, right? I mean, across the board. You got women's basketball killing it. You got the lacrosse teams doing better. With the big three, I mean, might be the big four now with women's basketball. And I mean, with the sport of women's basketball drawing more eyes than the WNBA, it's something to maybe consider for, serious, a little bit more serious attention than it's gotten in the past, right? But with that said, you got women's basketball doing what they do. You got Syracuse lacrosse, obviously on its way up, and basketball is on its way up. And I mean, we've talked ad nauseum about football, so I mean, things are looking good. I mean, this shit doesn't happen overnight unless you're Fran Brown. That dude pisses excellence. Apparently, I have no idea. What the hell?
I wake up and I piss excellence.
I don't. I mean, as far like on paper right now, there's no. I see not a nil, not a nair, not a one negative about the whole Fran Brown thing. Like,
not yet.
I mean, if you want to try to find one, and go ahead and be my guest.
So far, right? But I mean,
we got to see him play.
That's the thing. What it is. But I mean, I'm even seeing the recruiting now. I'm seeing all these, things popping up, and top 100 and top 200 recruit from 2025 got us in our top 5, top 6. Like, that's never happened before. Like,
legit Jack too, by the way. ACC coach of the year. I don't know if you knew that.
No, she was.
Yeah, yesterday. I think it was yesterday.
Okay, yeah, makes sense. Yeah, they played their first. They had 2-round bye, and they played their first ACC tournament game on Friday. So,
yeah, doing things. So, all right. Well, let's see if we can't do a couple more. And I got a vamonos time. Yeah, it's pushing my limit. Let's see. And our buddy at Level Up, Luke. Oh no, we suck again. Meme. I mean, yeah, we suck against good teams. I mean, I wouldn't even say suck because you look at it didn't get to 15 until the very end of the game. It was 12. It was 8. It was 12 again. It was 7. It was 6 at one point. I mean, they fought back numerous times. It just overwhelmingly outmatched, and that was it. They knew it. Yeah, Clemson had the players to do what they needed to do to make sure that they exposed everything, like you mentioned earlier. They exposed every weakness that we had on defense.
Yeah, and we got a little bit better on the rebounding side of it, right? And we shot better as far as maybe not the beginning. In the beginning, we were cold, so that was part of it, right? But realistically, I mean, like I said, the turnovers. I didn't think we were going to turn them over 21 times like the first game, but only 10. I mean, if we get that number to 15, 16, I think we're talking a completely different ballgame here. Plus, we missed 5 free throws, and the way that we shot in the beginning of the season or the beginning of the game was really, really bad. So there's still some areas there, but again, this just shows you what the small amount of error, the small gap of error that we have. There's a margin of error against these top teams are very, very small, and one little thing goes wrong, and we're gonna end up losing that game. And again, it's unfortunate. It's not what we wanted to see, especially when you see Joe Girard hitting shots at senior night at another port. When these people, our fans were saying, that he should good. Now he can transfer to what I hear today on Sports Talk for Syracuse, off Siena, Albany.
Oh yeah, right? yeah.
Now he can go transfer to a MAC school. Like, come on, bro.
Like, he just wasn't. Well, he's playing out of position. He didn't have the athleticism that he's around now. There's so many factors that go into that, and I think we've talked. I think it's been brought up on fan feedback. The fact that that was just a better fit for Joe. Yeah. Being at Clemson was a better fit for Joe Girard.
And it makes sense to why he went there now. When you really step back and you take a damn bird's eye view of it, right? Like, I mean,
95% from the free throw line.
He's shooting the best from 3-point line percentage for his career too.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, everything is clicking for him right now.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm happy for the dude. Definitely don't like seeing it.
Not against us, but I knew it. We knew it. We knew this was going to happen. We knew it, and he's done it so efficiently against us too. Not Ian Shefflin efficient, but I mean, come on.
Well, Ian Shefflin's also taken less risk too. But anyway,
dude, Gerard has hit what?
He was 4
8
for 5,
out of 12
right?
3-pointers in the 2 games that he played against us.
I mean, it's pretty good.
I mean, yeah, it's really good. So
it's kind of my point.
I mean,
it's kind of my point.
Yeah. We knew it was going to hurt, and when we saw Clemson and then we saw him twice in the schedule, we knew it was going to hurt twice.
Yeah,
we thought that just we thought him. Coming to the Dome, scoring his 2,000th point, we knew he was going to do something, right? But little did we know that we were actually going to go to Clemson on senior night, too, and have him do the same damn thing. So, here we are. But
here we are.
Here's a couple that I wanted to bring up because this is something that I saw all over social media, and I don't know what you thought about it or anything, but it's a 2-for-1. It's a Chris and then Trista Lynn. Chris says,
"Where are we? Is this
all the way in the bottom of Facebook?
Is this a thread?"
Nope.
Okay.
It is not.
Okay.
Chris says that lady's voice was the devil. And
then my gosh! Thank you.
And then Trista Lynn says someone should have shoved that baker's hat down her throat. Oops! Did I just say that out loud? She ruined the game.
I'm not seeing that one.
It's on Facebook all the way at the bottom.
Yeah, it ain't at the bottom of mine. See, this is the thing with
you probably, if you go up, it says most relevant. You got to click all comments.
Oh, my bad. I didn't realize I had to manage my own comments.
Yeah,
I think
dude,
I saw
there. This all over.
But
Facebook.
here, I'll say this. I was gonna tweet about it. Why are they able to be mic'd up? I mean, dude, they called Judah Mintz trash or something like that one time. Like it's like
they're not mic'd up.
I know,
so close to the people calling the game.
I know.
That it comes.
I know, but why? Is it always like that there? And what's up with the baker's hat? Because they're cooking. Is that what it is? Is that
no? I think they were students.
I know they were students, but why were they wearing chef's hats? Is because they were cooking? Is that what the thing is?
Shefflin?
Oh,
Ian Shefflin. I mean, I just kind of put that together. I don't know.
Wow, that was good for you.
Look,
that was good for you.
Reason, then I have no idea. I'm right there with you.
I thought it's because they were cooking. I don't know. But Shefflin makes more sense.
Was cooking, and
Shefflin
was definitely the cook.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, you got some dumb ones here on Facebook, and this is why I don't go here. By the way, there's some really, really stupid ones on there. But I got one more, and then we can wrap it up here. On Twitter, at Mike S748555165. Absolutely love the way Cuse guys played tonight. Played hard all the way to the end. No quit. Proud of them. Win three ACC games and get in. Thought the ESPN2 production was abysmal. No crowd noise. I beg to differ, Mike. Reese Davis below average. If we have our center protecting the tin, we win. I mean, look, here's the thing. You want my honest opinion about this, and I'm not trying to be dramatic or rude or anything like that. We don't have a center. We don't have one. We didn't have one really to start the year, and we still don't have one. We just really literally don't have one right now. But in my opinion, Naheem McLeod needs work. Peter Carey, I mean, he was cleared last night, didn't play. He was out with another injury. And both of those guys can be good, and maybe they will be soon, but they are not right now. And I honestly think that you want to talk about matchups, okay, that's another conversation. But when you're doing a 30,000 foot view of it, Malik Brown is probably your best bet most of the time. And it is what it is. I think that it's been since like Raheem Christmas, dude, since we've had a strong center. And this is what the transfer portal and NIL money and the collectives are for. It is to pull something out of there. Something tremendous. Something good. Okay? I mean, I don't know what we can come up with, but I want experience down low. Build the guys up you got next year and find something with some experience. I mean, this is an open market now. Let's fix that hole because it's...
No, I mean, let's be honest, right? I mean, we know Hima's gone, right? We knew that Peter Carey was coming off a freshman year and he needs to put on some weight. I think he showed some flashes, but I think obviously he's a little in over his head in a couple instances this year. But also I think, he needs to put the bulk on. He just gets pushed around and everything like that. We do have to remember, too, William Patterson is a center that did redshirt, so we haven't seen him yet.
That's true.
And on top of that, I would have loved to have seen Naheem McLeod like this deep into ACC play. He got hurt early, and I would have liked to have seen what that would have turned into if he would have started. How many minutes he would have played? Would we have seen improvement in games like yesterday? Would it have helped us for him to play 15, 20 minutes of go ahead, PJ Hall, try, right? Because just those natural centers, they can just get it over Malik. I mean, he's good, but he can't jump. He can't take risks because if he gets in foul trouble, then we're really screwed, right? So realistically, I mean, there's still a lot there, and it sucks because Naheem I don't think he came out and jumped off the screen like a lot of people would have liked to have seen him. But we did see games where he was a defensive presence, and he blocked shots, and it wasn't easy around the basket. So if he can come back from that, it's just unfortunate we didn't see a whole year of him to see the improvement,
right.
to see, because now everyone's they're kind of just riding him off. Like, we need somebody in the portal. But realistically, William Patterson, Carey, and him, like they come back after 1 year. I mean, that might be enough, especially considering we know Malik Brown in situations can go in there and play center as well.
I don't know. I mean,
we're bringing in Donnie Freeman next year, who's legit 6'9", who he's going to be able to come in and he's going to be able to play power forward alongside of him. So even if Malik Brown does get pressed to play a little bit of center next year, you're going to have a legit 6'9" guy just as tall as you playing power forward right next to you. So,
yeah, I mean, I guess I understand your point. We'll never know. So we can sit here and argue about it all day. But it is my belief that there is we don't know. But here's the thing. Here, just real quick. I'm sorry. From what I saw, there is so much that needed to be fixed from the start of ACC play till now that I just don't know. Now, the whole team's gotten better, I feel like, right? So who knows what you're right. Who knows where it'd be right now? But who knows? Exactly. Who knows? But he's still a part of the team. And you're right. We do have 3 guys that can play. But I still don't think that it's a terrible idea to grab something out of the transfer portal. Because, I mean, are you going to use all 3? I mean, isn't this going to get whittled down? Do you expect all of those guys to be there next year?
I mean, I don't know if they're going to use all 3. I guess my whole point is that like right now we're at the max. So for us to get a transfer center, then somebody else needs to leave. And we don't know who that is. I mean, is Kyle Cuff going to leave because he didn't get enough run? I don't know. Is Judah Mintz going to leave or come back? We don't know. Is Justin Taylor going to get run off like Joe Girard did? Don't know. Is Carey going to leave because coach says, hey, we got guys here you're just not going to play over? I mean, you're willing to stay if you want, but, I mean, we don't know. But I just know that there is a core group of guys that I definitely want to see back. And I honestly wouldn't mind if they all came back.
I would love to see them all come back. Are you kidding me?
But them all coming back, that brings up the point that you just said, right? Is who's going to be the center because we can't get a transfer. I don't need all of them to come back. We don't need all of them to come back. No.
We don't. But, I mean, when I talk about Kyle Cuff, I mean, what the hell? Do you want to see him back, right? All of a sudden, we're 7 deep, the last game of the regular season? What the hell? So, you know, we were scraping by on really 6 deep for a really long time.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, I want to see all 6 of those guys come back. McLeod, Carey, whoever, you know, and a transfer. I just don't think we're in a perfect world. I just don't think we're going to get all that anyway. So I don't know if it matters. We can sit here and wish in one hand and shit in the other one, see which one gets filled first. You know what I'm saying? Why don't you try it, Joe?
No. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that at all. So
okay. Look, I've overstayed my welcome.
Okay.
And by that I mean I gotta go. I am in my own house, by the way. So that's not it. But I have to leave it. Because
I get that.
my son's playing lacrosse right now. So anyways, that is all I got for you guys. Appreciate you. When we find out something, we will let you know that something. But you'll already know. We'll just sit here and give you our mundane, boring opinions on it. For Joe, for Sean, we're out.
Peace.